Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. If you can hear me, please say something in the chat so I can know you can hear me. If I need to switch my audio, this will be the time to do it. If you can help me out, please. A thumbs up will do if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Alex. Is it clear? Alex, is it clear? We'll give it a little bit of time. See if we can get a few more people to join, possible. I didn't want this to be a long one. Knowing that the USA is frozen in, I figured it would be a good break just to catch up, um, give a reminder of what we do and how we can help you in your building process. This is the first time I'm using YouTube Studios Live, so it's a learning process for me as well. Hopefully, we can figure it out together. The good thing, I believe, the good thing about this is, we can still get this shared for other people um, to watch later on. All right, so I think what I'll do is I'll just get started with what I had, scheduled to share. Um, for most people, you already know what BCS is, but if you have never seen us, if you've never seen BCS, this is Eric. My name is Eric Ganabakweku, the face of BuildConnect Solutions Limited, BCS. What we do is we source doors, windows, and doors, windows, and tiles from China, quality, premium, at affordable prices from China. We've been doing this since April 2024. So we are into our, almost our second birthday in April. What we've been doing for people since we started is trying to essentially emulate what happened on my project, where I realized I couldn't, with the kind of windows that we had in Ghana and the kind of doors that we had in Ghana didn't fit what I wanted for my space without having to make alterations to the building plan that I had. So what I ended up doing is ventured out into China, and when I shared my story, other people asked if we could do for them. Here we are. Now we are at this point, almost into our second year in existence as a company, and we've done some good business. We've helped people a lot over the last year and a half, I would say, more than a year and a half at this point, actually. So the the reason behind this live really is just to see if this is something that people will benefit from, that we can do every once in a while. Normally, we recommend consultation, because for me, that is the best way I think we can get you on a one-on-one, because everyone's building is custom, everyone's building is different from the next person's. So if we get into a consultation space, then we know that we are answering questions specific to your project. There are some things that we've learned over the period of our existence that I believe is worth sharing. One of them is measurement, right? If the right measurements are taken, then it makes the process easier. And for Windows, we do have a team that we work with, Jehovah Jireh, Johnny and his crew. They were actually the people who installed my Windows, and they've installed for a lot of other people since, including most recently Project Pamford, Project Kofi, and Project KKBT House. They've done a few others. They do good work, and they are one of I would say right now, they are the only people that I can trust, know our systems well enough to install without problems. And we always encourage that we let them do the measurements too, because they know what the systems look like before we do the order. Once the order is placed, if it's something that we customize, doors and windows, it takes about between 30 to 40 days to get a production done. And then once that is taken care of, it takes about 6 weeks to ship to Ghana, and between a week and two to get things cleared so they are at a warehouse in Ghana for you to pick up. The way we operate is this: we've made it so that you don't have to deal with the customs, at the Tema port. Essentially, the shipper charges for all of that in their freight fees, and what you have to do then is just show up at their warehouse and pick up your goods, paid for. For tiles, the process is similar, but the turnaround for sourcing the tiles is a little shorter, roughly within 2 weeks. If we do have stock, within 2 weeks, the tiles are ready and delivered to the shipper. And then from that time on, the timeline is the same. I will say for the things that we do now, those three things, one of the things that we decided to focus on those three is basically to be able to give the best service to you, the customer, or future people who come to us. The idea is, if we take on too much, especially things that we don't know about, we might give you something that is not what you wanted. And that's not where our heart is, right? It will seem, enticing for us to be able to do a lot more than just doors, windows, and tiles, because that opens revenue avenues for us. But in this moment, we're still trying to standardize the way we do things. And until we do that, we're going to continue doing, our mantra of better before bigger. So anything doors, right? Security doors, internal doors, aluminum profile doors like sliding doors, folding doors, garage doors, anything doors and anything windows, fixed windows, sliding windows, casement windows, we can do all of those. And also premium tiles, right? Those are the things that we do. To talk a little bit about tiles, the craze now is to go bigger. So anything from 900 mm by 1800 mm down to 600 by 1200 mm. Those are the sweet spots now that we see. The only thing that I would say about the 900 by 1800 mm is those tiles are heavy. And you need an expert tiler to be able to lay them, and also tools. right? Because you don't want to buy two big tiles that you don't have equipment for. Essentially, if you buy a tile that is bigger than the tile cutters available on the Ghana market, you have a problem. So what we'll be recommending for people who come to us who want those big tiles to fill their space is to also get appropriate tile cutter and also tile installation um, tools for them to be able to use, like suction cups and anything that will make the laying of the tile easy. But when it comes to the tile laying, that's a conversation that should be had with the tiler. Let them know that they're comfortable laying such big tiles, because we've seen it several times where someone says I can do it. If you're watching this video and you're Ghanaian, you know what I mean by that. I can do it spirit, because there's almost a tendency of not being able to say no. They'll say they can do it, and then the result is not what you want, right? So have an honest conversation with them. Let them know that this is a partnership where you're trying to make sure that you can get what you need along with the tiles, so that when it gets to Ghana, the laying becomes easier for them, right? The reason why big tiles are the craze is they make the space more open. It makes a small space even look bigger. It reduces grout lines in the space, so that you don't have to worry about all those dirt and gunk filling in between the spaces in between the tiles. So those are some of the things that you need to consider when you're thinking about tiles for your space. People have different tastes, right? So the idea is to think about what you like, and also to make sure that it's timeless, right? I've seen some really good looking tiles, but that will not stand the test of time. Taste buds change. But if you get something that is timeless, you can change your furniture around the tile and it still looks great, right? If you tie yourself into something that you can only put some kind of one specific color furniture setting on to tie it in, then you limited yourself to a small range of things that you can do in the space for the future. I was watching a video, a few days ago, and it brought something to me in my mind about what I need to do about my own project as well. The idea is to build. We talk about building dream homes a lot, right? I've said it so many times, building our dream home. But there's something about homes that we need to remember, that your lifestyle is not going to change because the home changed, right? So we need to think about the way we live now, the way that we do, our mundane stuff, Monday through Friday, on the weekends, however we live. Try to build your house so it fits that kind of mold, because the likelihood that you change your lifestyle because you built a home a certain way is almost zero. So it's best to consider picking things for your space, like tiles for your space that fit what you live like now, right? The kind of things that you care about. Let your surroundings support that. That will make the place welcoming to you, especially those of us who live abroad. If you build something that you really didn't fall in love with, the likelihood that you want to go and be in that space reduces, right? I would hate, and I've heard people do this, I'll hate for any one of us doing these things to spend the money that we spend and the time, especially if you're sourcing, through BCS from China, the time and effort that you put into it and the money to now put things in the space that make you not want, right? To go home and be in that space that you spend all that money on, right? There's no reason why we should build our nice homes, invest so much money in them, and because we didn't like the way it ended, go pay to live in a hotel. So yeah, at this point, thank you guys for joining. I see a few of you on here. If there are any questions that you have, this is a good time. You can drop them in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer them. If you would like to, book a consultation, I'll drop the link in the chat as well. I recommend a consultation. Why? Because it is a dedicated time. So imagine having this conversation with you one-on-one, no interruption. you can come with your plan, and we can tell you exactly, or we can work together to get to exactly what you need. And the good thing about it is, whatever you pay, you get back once you order. Full rebate on whatever you pay for consultation. We do the fee on the consultation side as a trust thing, right? Where we are valuing each other's time, and once you order, we refund the consultation fee back to you. So yeah, let me see. Let me drop the link for consultation in the chat. Keep track of this, and if you want to book a time slot, let us know. See, what else can I share with you? Oh, I did a video on the Ghana Bakweku channel a few days ago, talking about the need for big windows, especially big fixed windows, because they bring so much light into the space. I've been in spaces where the place is so dark, and I know a lot of people build with security in mind, and the fear is that the more windows we have in the space, the less secure it is, and that's not true. If done well, right, with the right window systems, you could actually improve security just by the window system. One of the things that I think we should focus on more is actually living in the house instead of security while building the house, right? If you think about how you're going to live in the space, how you'd want to wake up with light coming into the space, all of those things should factor into what kind of windows you design into your building. For some of you, this part is already done. But if you are now going to design your house, I'll recommend you make sure you get a lot of sunlight in the space, because that breathes life, and it's also economical. You don't end up spending too much money on having to turn lights on every single room you're in because the place is too dark. Even our moods, right? The lighter the space is, the more vibrant you seem. As Africans, we say this a lot, about how good vitamin D is for us. So consider that if you are still in the design process for a project, consider putting in some really big windows. Smaller cabin size windows are not the best. They might offer security because you think someone might not be able to break through the window. But trust me, most people who are committed to stealing something from you and are really bent on doing it will not go through a window, right? Because they'll go through the bigger space, which is the doorway, because that is where they'll be able to take the big things that they care about through, right? So yeah, consider that. Big windows are important, and if done right, you would have really, really good insulation in them. You keep your place warm when it needs to be warm, and cool when it needs to be cool. Let me see, what else can I say about, for doors. We've talked about tiles a bit, we've talked about windows a bit. Let's talk about doors a little bit. We do offer quality stainless steel, 3 or 4 grade stainless steel security doors. If you've watched some of the videos on the BCS channel, and probably before we started putting things dedicated on this channel, and on the Ghana Bakweku channel, you see some of the doors we've done for people. And quality is important to us, right? Because we stepped into this space because of what I wanted in my space. So in essence, if we will not go into my space, I will not recommend it for you, which means that if it's not premium, we don't want to attach our names to it. And it's not because we want to brag, but it's because we want a situation where at the end of it, when the door comes into space, or whatever we helped you get into space, you would be happy when you see it, instead of being upset because we misled you, right? That's one of the reasons why we decided to tighten what we do, so that the more we get comfortable and learning the things that we do, the better vetting that we do for factories that we use, always with the customer in mind, because before BCS, I was one of you, right? I was a customer who was talking to some of these factories with the help of our business partner Sarah, and what I learned in the process and what we learned by working with other clients, we try to polish for the next person. I'll give you an example. Going back to a little bit about tiles, and I'll come back to the doors that I was talking about. When I went to Ghana last summer to take delivery of my tiles, some of them got broken. And with that knowledge, we decided to change the way we pack things, right? We instead of standing the tiles up tall, we now lay them on the tall side flat. What that does is it makes it so there's more of a steady pallet building, and even if it tips over, it will not tip over because that it's not heavy on the tall side. It's now laid this way. If you've watched any of the videos that I posted about Project KKBT House when I was in Ghana with them, you'll see how we package the tiles compared to what I did on mine. So we all of these things that we do, it's basically when we learn something good, we turn it into something that we do for the next person, right? And we believe that the more we do, we're not looking for mistakes, but mistakes are inevitable, right? As much as we can turn them into lessons for the next person, then everyone is happy at the end of it. Now back to the doors. So the security doors we do, we only use 3 or 4 stainless steel. That's not the only material we use, but still, I'm saying when it comes to stainless steel, we only use 3 or 4 because it is able to withstand corrosion more. But if you live close to the ocean, kind of like buildings like Project KKBT House, it's really, really close to the ocean. What we recommend for you is to use aluminum, as the metal for your security doors. If you wanted to do wooden doors as well, my front door is a security door, but it's wooden, right? Wood can, withstand salt as long as it's treated well, and as long as you keep it, out of direct moisture way. It's a good material to use for a front door. In my case, inside the cavity of the door, we created, almost like a honeycomb, but we put metal pipes in it, advantage points, to essentially do 2 things for us: to create that security that I wanted for the front door, and also to hold the door upright for a long time because of how massive the door is. So these are some things that you need to consider if you're thinking about, doors for your front door. So either metal security. I've seen videos on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video, you have seen some. No need to mention names, but some of the doors that we get in Ghana gets put in space and are places that are not even close to the ocean. Before you know it, they're rusting, right? That's one of the things that we try to ask when you come to us. Where are you building? How close to the ocean are you? And then we recommend what to use in that space based on where your project site is. Outside of security doors, we can do glass folding doors. We can do wooden internal doors. We do garage doors. Actually, on my own site, someone asked me, one of our recent clients asked me, Project Promised Land. He asked me if I'd, shared my garage door video, and I forgot I hadn't done it. So it's something that I need to do for my Ghana Bakuku channel. But, garage doors are one of the things that we do as well. If you come talk to us, we'll show you how to measure the space, what information to give to us so that we can be able to help you source garage doors for that space. At this point, I will, pause the talk. I don't see any chats, any messages in the chat. If you have a question, this is the time to, put it in. Anything that I missed, I'll monitor the chat for a little bit. If there are no questions, I think we can get ready to wrap this up. I didn't want this to be a long video. I felt like on a cold day like this, especially for those in the US, I pray that you're staying warm. I figured it would be an okay use of my time to just come and catch up with you guys while you guys are stuck indoors just like I am. So yeah, if you have any questions, throw them in the chat and I'll do my best to respond to them. This will be shared as well. I'll respond to any questions that come later on. Feel free to share this to other people who might not have joined the live so they can also watch it. At BCS, our mandate is simple, right? To make sure that we do the best for you as we would if it was going into our project, right? So yeah, I appreciate everyone who joined this stream. It was short notice. It's the first one we've done. If it's something that you want us to do often, yeah, drop it in the comments. And if there's a topic that you want us to talk about, let me know as well, and we'll figure out how to do it. Come prepared for it. All right. Without anything else, since there are no comments in the chat, I'll end this here. I appreciate your time. Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for watching our videos. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button. Share our content with people so they know what we're doing. Right? I believe we're doing good things. The more people know about us, the better it will be for fellow builders like you and I. All right, so I'll end it here. Have a great day. Stay warm if you're in the US. It's freezing out everywhere pretty much. And all the best on the building journey. And when we have more content, I'll share on the platform. All right, bye-bye.